For this video, I will provide an overview of the Amphibious Assault unit type, and list the factions which currently have these units available. Then, cover some generic strategic applications for squads assigned to Amphibious Assault units, to include insight about how littoral warfare capabilities are integral to the success and win of operations by Amphibious Assault teams. Amphibious Warfare is a type of offensive military operation that today uses naval ships to project ground and air power onto a hostile or potentially hostile shore at a designated landing beach. The intent of operational landings is usually to exploit the shore as a vulnerability in the enemy's overall position, forcing redeployment of forces, premature use of reserves, and aiding a larger allied offensive effort elsewhere. Since the 20th century, an amphibious landing of troops on a beachhead is acknowledged as the most complex of all military maneuvers, as the undertaking requires an intricate coordination of numerous military specialties and extensive training in the nuances of this maneuver for all personnel involved. Citing squad developers directly, amphibious assault units focus on amphibious vehicles and amphibious assaults. What this means is that amphibious assault units in squad are specialized to bridge the gap between naval and ground warfare by advancing on land objective areas through means of watercraft and hybrid vehicles. The real-world 4-5 Commando Royal Marines is a battalion-sized unit of the British Royal Marines capable of a wide range of operational amphibious tasks. Notably, the unit participated in Operation Overlord, the D-Day Normandy landings, and as part of the 3rd Commando Brigade deployed to Afghanistan and participated in various cold weather training exercises and beach raids in the Arctic. Currently in squad, there are 5 playable amphibious assault units, 1 under the Blue 4 Alliance, 2 PAC, and 2 Red 4. Starting with Blue 4, the first of the amphibious assault units is the United States Marine Corps' 4th Marines Amphibious Ready Group, a highly versatile and expeditionary naval force specially trained and equipped for amphibious warfare operations. For amphibious assault units under the Chinese Alliance, the first is the PLA Amphibious Ground Forces 14th Amphibious Combined Arms Brigade, the PLA's main maneuver force focusing on large-scale offensive amphibious invasions. Also under the Chinese Alliance, the PLA Navy Marine Corps' 5th Marine Combined Arms Brigade, a lighter marine force relying on greater flexibility and versatility than the heavier Army Amphibious Combined Arms Brigades. As for the Red 4 Alliance, Russian Ground Forces 336th Guards Naval Infantry Brigade, specializing in amphibious warfare, excels in conducting rapid deployments, beach landings, and littoral operations, enabling it to respond effectively to a wide range of maritime and coastal security challenges. And last but not least, the VDV's 7th Guards Mountain Air Assault Division, a formidable and expansive maneuver unit within the Russian Airborne Force encompassing air assault, airborne, artillery, and engineer regiments. These units have one major characteristic in common: amphibious versatility. The key to the efficacy of operations performed by amphibious assault units lies within proper utilization of boats and hybrid vehicle assets to invade and contest operational environments surrounded by water or where significant terrain may be strategically accessible through means of watercraft. The first major strategy for amphibious assault units is to maximize their combat effectiveness through the breach of and maneuver across littoral battle space by mobilization of available boats and naval vessels. Amphibious assault units have access to more available rib boats than opposing units, resulting in the dominance of waterborne capabilities. Though armor and damage absorption potential is next to none on inflatable watercraft, rib boats thrive in terms of speed and agility across ocean, lakes, and waterways. This enables amphibious assault units the unique and versatile advantage to quickly advance upon and engage hostile forces from an additional domain of approach, such as a connecting body of water, specifically integral when opposing units lack available resources to cross. As for armament on board their available vessels, Not intended to deal significant damage to armor, mounted machine guns and high-caliber turrets offer amphibious assault units means of engaging land forces and suppressing defensive fighters. Because of the vastness and lack of terrain obstacles on open water, rib boats engaged in combative aggression by means of mounted guns are able to maximize strategic positioning by relocating to the adversary's weakest flank, specifically when their sectors facing the coast or beach are largely unguarded. Beyond elements of lethal invasion and support, amphibious assault units utilizing rib boats for logistical purposes find great success in providing build supplies and ammunition to coastal FOBs. Though resupply is contingent on the proximity of friendly radios to water-accessible battle space, the unique advantage of logistical support capabilities via Watercraft means amphibious assault units possess the strategic surety in knowing resources are provided across an exclusive domain. Finally, the small form factor and low profile of rib boats means forces engaged in waterborne scout operations have access to discreetly surveil enemy troop movement from locations that are inaccessible by hostile land forces, meaning becoming compromised is of less concern when facing units that lack comparable amphibious capabilities. The second major strategy for amphibious assault units is to combine both land and water accessibility with enhanced firepower and protection. Available vehicles of amphibious assault units range from wheeled and tracked assets with added hybrid capabilities, enabling the seamless transition from floating vessel to mobile ground vehicle. This extremely versatile feature can most exclusively be exercised by the positioning of amphibious vehicles in strategic waters and engaging hostile land forces with embedded turrets and cannons. The littoral advantages of amphibious assault units' maximized application of waterborne combative aggression is unparalleled among the entirety of the battlefield, particularly when the vastness of open coastline poses significant vulnerability to opposing ground forces. Perhaps the most integral aspect of amphibious assault units, beach landings by capable armored assets address the complex yet vital necessity to seize and capture territory connected to water. What the adversary considers a fortified and secure coastline flank is a massive vulnerability to teams that are competent in the art of amphibious raid warfare. This is accomplished by amphibious assault units concealing their invasion with smokescreen capabilities and wedging their armored strength into littoral battle space, to successfully transition from water to land with the intent of deploying troops to advance on team objective areas. Once fully out of water, amphibious assault assets capitalize on mechanized infantry practices through personnel transport, troop protection, and firepower aggression. Keeping these strategies in mind, amphibious assault units' strength is derived from littoral warfare, and therefore pose a substantial threat only to opposing units which lack amphibious capabilities. Though air assault and light infantry units possess unique speed advantages in air and on land, amphibious assault units' overall speed is unmatched in water domains. In terms of damage absorption and firepower armament, amphibious assault units' weakness is neutralized by the strengths of armored units, since tracked main battle tanks lack the capabilities to transition from land to deeper waters. This imbalance of pros and cons result in amphibious assault units' potential to rival any opposing unit type while potentially being hindered or easily exploitable. Therefore, success and win of operations by amphibious assault teams is largely dependent on map, layer, enemy faction, and sub-faction.
That was easy.
In conclusion, amphibious assault units possess extraordinary resources to bridge the gap between the traditional elements of both naval warfare and ground combat. If the area of operations is littered with water channels and bay areas, Amphibious assault units thrive through the successful application of aggressive beach landings to raid opposing territory that is susceptible to attack. However, amphibious assault units find themselves insufficiently capable to match the strength of enemy units when littoral space is limited or the adversary's assets are of comparable amphibious functionality.